I should have known the moment Lindsay texted me about Thanksgiving that something was off. Bringing someone very special, she'd written, followed by 3 diamond ring emojis. Try to look presentable for once. I was folding surgical gowns in the hospital supply room when the message came through. Presentable. As if I hadn't just completed a 12-hour reconstructive surgery on a teenager's shattered hand. As if the tremor in my fingers wasn't from precision work that had taken 8 years of specialized training to master. But that was Lindsay. Always had been. I arrived at my parents' house in Newton at exactly 4 p.m., still wearing my scrubs under a coat because I'd come straight from rounds. My 2015 Honda looked modest next to the cars lining the driveway. My parents' Lexus, Lindsay's white BMW, and a sleek black Audi I didn't recognize. Mom opened the door, her smile tight. Elena. You're here. Not, happy you could make it, or we've missed you. Just acknowledgement of my presence. Traffic was light, I said, kissing her cheek. She smelled like expensive perfume and disappointment, her usual scent around me. Lindsay's in the living room with Jackson. Try not to, just be pleasant. I knew. Don't overshadow. Don't correct her stories. Don't mention that the down payment on her BMW had come from my account, or that I'd been paying half of Mom and Dad's mortgage for 3 years while Lindsay found herself, through a series of failed business ventures and unpaid internships. The living room looked like it had been staged for a magazine shoot. Lindsay perched on the sofa in a cream cashmere dress that probably cost more than my monthly malpractice insurance. Next to her sat a man who looked to be in his late 30s, clean-cut in an expensive suit, with the confident posture of someone used to making life-or-death decisions. Elena. Lindsay's voice dripped with performative warmth. Come meet Jackson. Jackson, this is my older sister, she works retail. The words hit exactly as she'd intended. Not, my sister Elena. Or, my sister who lives in Boston. Just retail. A diminishment. A dismissal. Jackson stood and extended his hand. Jackson Foster. Pleasure to meet you. His grip was firm, professional. Surgeon's hands, I noticed immediately. Steady, strong, with calluses in specific places that suggested years of instrument work. His eyes swept over me with polite interest, then paused. A flicker of confusion crossed his face. Have we met before? He asked. I don't think so, I said, though something about his face tugged at my memory. Young maybe? A resident somewhere? Lindsay laughed, that crystalline sound she'd perfected. Jackson's a cardiothoracic surgeon at Mass General. Elena, he definitely doesn't shop wherever you work. Lindsay, Mom said quietly, a gentle chiding that meant nothing. What? My sister's eyes were wide with false innocence. I'm just saying they probably don't cross paths. Jackson literally saves lives. Elena folds clothes. I felt the familiar heat rising in my chest, the urge to correct, to defend, to reveal. But I'd learned years ago that fighting only made things worse. Made me look jealous. Made me the problem. Jackson was still staring at me, his brow furrowed. I'm sorry, but you really do look familiar. Did you go to Harvard Medical School? The room went still. Lindsay's laugh came out forced. Jackson, honey, Elena didn't finish college. She dropped out of community college, actually. Right, Elena? I met her eyes. Saw the challenge there. The dare. That's not quite accurate, I said quietly. Well, you didn't get your bachelor's, Lindsay pressed, her voice hardening slightly. So technically. Jackson pulled out his phone, his movements sudden. He typed something, his thumb moving quickly across the screen. Then he went completely still, the color draining from his face. Oh my God, he whispered. He turned the phone toward me. On the screen was a medical journal article, Revolutionary Microsurgical Technique for Peripheral Nerve Repair, by Dr. Elena Martinez, MD, PhD. My article. The one that had changed everything in hand surgery. The technique I'd developed after watching too many patients lose function because traditional methods weren't precise enough. You're Dr. Martinez, Jackson said, his voice filled with something between awe and disbelief. You pioneered the Martinez nerve cooptation technique. I use it at least twice a week. You're the reason I can promise my patients they'll regain sensation. He looked at Lindsay, then back at me. You're one of the most respected hand surgeons in the country. Lindsay's face had gone white. That's not. I have your textbook, Jackson continued, pulling up another image on his phone. Advanced Microsurgical Reconstruction. It's required reading for every hand surgery fellow in North America. You lecture at Johns Hopkins. He turned to Lindsay, his expression shifting to something cold. You said your sister dropped out of college. She did drop out of community college, Lindsay said quickly, desperately. Before she went back, I guess. I didn't know she'd. You didn't know? Jackson's voice was sharp now. Your sister is Dr. Elena Martinez and you didn't know? Jackson, let me explain. You told me your family had no medical background, he said, his words clipped. You said your sister worked retail and that you were the only one who'd made something of herself. You said, he stopped, his jaw working. You said you'd been supporting your family financially while your sister couldn't hold down a job. The silence that followed was deafening. Dad cleared his throat. Lindsay, what is he talking about? My sister's perfect composure was cracking. I may have simplified some things. For Jackson's benefit. He came from nothing, worked so hard for everything, and I didn't want him to think I was spoiled or... You told me your sister was a charity case, Jackson said, his voice dangerously quiet. You said she'd asked you for money multiple times. You said you felt guilty about your success because she'd struggled so much. I felt something break loose in my chest. Lindsay asked me for money? $20,000 last spring, Jackson said, looking at me. She said it was for her sister's medical bills. I helped her set up a payment plan to you. The room tilted. $20,000. I thought of the mysterious deposit that had appeared in Lindsay's account last April, the one she'd said was from a freelance consulting gig. The one she'd used to buy the BMW. I never received any money from Lindsay, I said quietly. I've been paying half of my parents' mortgage for 3 years. I paid for Lindsay's car down payment. I've sent her money 17 times in the past 4 years, totaling just over $82,000. Mom made a small sound. Dad's face had gone red. You took money from Jackson under false pretenses? Dad's voice was thunderous. You told him it was for Elena's medical bills? Lindsay's eyes filled with tears. I needed it. Do you know how hard it is being the younger sister of someone so perfect? Elena, the brilliant surgeon. Elena, who everyone respects. Meanwhile, I'm just someone who's been lying to everyone, Jackson said flatly. He turned to me. Dr. Martinez, I apologize for my ignorance. It's an honor to meet you. Your work on brachial plexus injuries changed my approach to upper extremity reconstruction entirely. Thank you, I managed. He looked at Lindsay one more time and I saw the exact moment he made his decision. I think I should go. Jackson, please. Lindsay reached for him but he stepped back. You built our entire relationship on lies, Lindsay. About your family. About your sister. About who you are. He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, the ring he'd clearly planned to present today, and set it on the coffee table. I can't marry someone I don't actually know. He nodded to my parents, shook my hand one more time with something like reverence and left. The front door closed with a quiet click that sounded like thunder. Lindsay turned on me, her face contorted. This is your fault. You couldn't just play along for one day? You had to ruin this for me. I didn't say anything, I pointed out. You didn't have to. You just stood there looking so modest and humble while being secretly successful. Do you know how that makes me look? Lindsay. Mom's voice cracked. Did you really take money from that man under false pretenses? I needed it. And it's not like Elena needs money. She makes probably $500,000 a year. 380,000, I corrected quietly. Before taxes. And before the 82,000 I've given you and the 41,000 I've contributed to Mom and Dad's mortgage, and the 6,000 I sent for emergency dental work, that I'm now guessing never happened. Dad sank into a chair. Elena, we didn't know you were helping with the mortgage. Mom said you were struggling, that you might lose the house. I didn't want that to happen. We refinanced 2 years ago, Dad said weakly. We're fine. We've been fine. I looked at Mom. She couldn't meet my eyes. You told her we were struggling? Dad's voice rose. Margaret, why would you? Because Lindsay needed help. Mom burst out. And Elena has so much and Lindsay was trying so hard and I thought. You thought you'd lie to me so I'd give you money to give to Lindsay, I finished. The weight of it settled over me. Not just Lindsay's lies. All of them. The whole family system built on diminishing me so Lindsay could shine. So mom could feel like she'd succeeded with at least one daughter. So dad could avoid confronting the truth about his golden child. I picked up my coat. "Where are you going?" Mom asked. "We haven't even had dinner." "I don't think I'm hungry anymore." "Elena, don't be dramatic," Lindsay snapped. "So Jackson found out. You'll find someone else." "Someone else?" I stared at her. "Lindsay, I'm not upset about Jackson. I'm upset that my entire family has been lying to me and stealing from me for years." "We didn't steal." "Yes, you did." I looked at each of them. "I'm done. With the money. With the mortgage payments. With pretending to be less than I am so you can all feel better about yourselves." "Elena, honey, let's talk about this," Dad tried. "We can talk after you've paid me back the $129,000 you've taken from me under false pretenses. Until then, don't call." I walked out into the cold November air, my hands shaking, not from the precision work this time but from finally setting myself free. My phone buzzed as I reached my car. A LinkedIn message from Jackson Foster. "Dr. Martinez, I apologize again for this evening. If you're ever willing, I'd be honored to buy you coffee and discuss your research. No family involved. Just two surgeons talking shop. JF." I smiled, feeling something light and unexpected blooming in my chest. Maybe some things were worth losing. And maybe, just maybe, some things were worth finding. I sent back, "Coffee sounds perfect." Then I drove home to my quiet apartment, where my published articles lined the shelves and my achievements spoke for themselves, and I didn't have to shrink or hide or pretend to be anything other than exactly who I'd worked so hard to become. Dr. Elena Martinez. Finally, unapologetically free.